Accordion. KCM 2. Game number 4. Larva versus Mine. They send Larva out. Larva the fodder. Larva the Zerg food. What can he do? Larva's no good, right? We'd all pity him because he's been good for quite a while, but he's a tier 2 Zerg player with some periodic tier 1 Zerg results. He did manage to make top 5 of the fish list previous months ago, but now he's not doing so hot. Everybody does clean him off. Okay. Oh, you are here for all the pleasure in playing and pain, says chat streamer girl. Well, mostly pain, I'm sure, as we are on a desert map and snow and desert. Hard on the eyes, isn't it? All right. So top left-hand corner, we're going to have Larva. This is going to be a ZVT. Remember, we did see Sulky take a win off Light in the first game, so Zerg is able to win some games, right? La Mancha. La Mancha is the map that we are going to be boasting here, down here at the bottom right. Mind coming off of a 1-game win, and it seems that the first game that a player wins is the only game that they have been able to win. There's not this momentum that you can expect from players, and maybe that's just kind of the hard thing of swapping between the different matchups too. But it's really curious to note that usually it's Protoss is greater than Terran, is greater than Zerg, is greater than Protoss. But all the wins have reverted all that logic. So let's take everything out of the window. We don't know who's going to win here, but if Larva can find his composure, this isn't an ASL. This isn't an Africa-sponsored event, which means that he may actually get good results today. Mind also, I would say, in the same fashion, may get good results today. So Mind has opened up with a very forward barracks out at the front, a supply depot to help complete this wall, but it's as forward as it can be to try and help be aggressive with Marines early on in the game. I like this style from Mind. Back when Mind was in the Vant Star League finals, was it Vant or Kongdu? It was Vant. Let's go with that and correct me if I'm wrong. He played against Quanro. That's right, Quanro actually made it to the finals of a tournament, and every game was super hyper aggressive between those both players. It was probably the most fun ZVT finals you'll ever see, and if you're looking for fast, quick, aggressive games. You know, I know that some of you are just really into strategy style finals, which is really in-depth mind thinker type games, but that one, there was no thinking. It was all mechanical skill, and that actually was great. Mine ended up winning that best of 5 series. Win all 5 games, I believe, too. All right. And we can see here, and it's claiming that this is a bunker rush. I try not to read chat, actually, because I get distracted. I want myself to come to my own conclusions, and then I like to read back on chat to see what I may have missed if you guys try to add in any insight. And, you know, it's not surprising if it is a bunker rush, though. Let's just go ahead and play with that, because we see that Mind is going to go with that very often. He likes to do these bunker rushes early on, so we can see, and this is really reminiscent of that Mind versus Quanro style. A lot of drones getting pulled off right away, so Sulky, or not Sulky, Larva. Sulky played in that first game. Larva trying to just squash us, and I think that he has a ton of drones here. He had the potential to kill off the SCV, but a really poor pull. And now this gets tricky because there's that fallback bunker that the Marines could always go towards if they need to. And Larva is not getting a lot of damage off. What he did do is stall until Creep Colony could finish, until Creep was spread enough so he could make a sunken. And this sunken is going to be started immediately. A lot of Zerglings coming in here. And the Marines might get picked off. They do fall back. 2 picked off right away. And that's great at weakening this. This is a long travel rush distance. So very risky play that we're seeing from Mind because of the long rush distance that he has. But he has made it over here. He has managed to establish that bunker. I think that Larva has everything under control though, as he does go for the break. The SCVs get picked off right away. The second SCV. The SCV actually micros its way inside to try and survive it a little bit longer, and it does. What a key move as the SCV came inside, and now it pops out for the repair, and it's trying to get a full repair, which should happen very soon. Where it looked like Larva was in a good position, he now lost a lot of the Zerglings to try and clean that up and had no fruitful venture. The second command center coming at the natural base. Still just one barracks. As we can see, a gas coming down, and it looks to just be heading towards that +1 into 5-rack style that most Zergs have been going for lately in ZVTs. And no matter what, with that early gas, it does look like it's going to lead towards that +1. But we'll have to keep an eye out. We can't guarantee anything until we see whether there's 3 SCVs or 1. Meanwhile, this hatchery here at the front, it is mining gas. There is no gas at this main base, but Lair is going to be on the way. And that makes me think of a lurker build. It definitely makes me think that this could be a lurker build. And another hatchery is going to be laid out. Very important that a 3rd hatchery does come down. Remember, this is not like Neo Medusa. You do have to take a 3rd hatchery, but it's a macro hatchery in one of your main or your natural bases. Okay, so the extractor does come down, and which could mean that this is going to go back into the swing of Mutas, and that it was just, you know, later gas to just focus on getting those extra minerals earlier, not trying to trade anything else, as he just waits for his tech to finish. The 1 barracks is done, but it's going to be all about how many barracks are going to get laid out in this location. This is really where they get laid out too. It's where the Marines can easily get down the ramp, but when they pop out, they also pop out in a location where they can defend against the mineral line. So you will only need a turret here, you will need a turret here, and you will need a turret over here to defend once the turrets come out. +1 right away, as we have confirmed. And now it's back to 2 guys on gas, as you need limited gas to go with this Bioforce early on. And now the Academy upgrades, that's really where the gas is going to be able to go. And it says constant production of units out here, but I think that just this small force is going to be good enough to deal with Zerglings and take map presence if Mine wants to go for it, because Larva is going to be low on Zerglings. He's really not going to have units until the units do eventually come out. Let's go ahead and confirm, where is that Spire? Did I miss it inside this base? Yeah, it is snug towards the left of this mineral patch. Meanwhile, a medic got picked off. What is she doing out there? The medic is drunk. Send her home. Just confirming that's an overlord. And this medic is drunk too. You're drunk, medic. Get home. Get back in your home. And it can't. The medic can't get through. And what a sad. What a sad day. Mine just says, screw it. You're staying out there. I don't care. His spawn position's really bad. And now, finally, the Marines are going to ward it off. 1, 2, 3, 4. A fifth racks. It's going to float over. A 6 racks actually should... well, no, we're stopped at 5. We're stopped at 5. I'm sorry, not 6. I was just getting a little overzealous there with my barracks counting. Where is the 3rd going to be for Larva? So Larva's got these Mutalisks that are going to be on the way because the Spire's done. It should get up to 11 Mutas in total. So let's see, are there, yeah, a few Mutas more to try and get to 11. And then also we got to be thinking about expansion. So Larva took this expansion up here at the top right, but will he be able to hold it? He has to control the map. He has to make sure that not a single Marine or even a fireback gets snuck over to that 3rd base location, because it will make it so hard to keep. Alright. So this main base has, or the natural base, it has a giant hole here, but all the Marines are going to be microed over to it. It looks like Larva, though, is just going to try and maybe batter down the door, and I didn't know if he was going to try and get like a supply depot kill, but a supply depot kill for losing any of these units is actually pretty bad, so he doesn't want to have that. If he can't find these Marines out in the map, that's going to be his best case scenario. Alright. Oh man, I have been casting an hour and a half straight now. But we will continue. Let's get that 2nd win. All the Marines are starting to head up towards the top right. Mind has been able to finish off his key upgrades. +1 armor on the way, so he's actually rushing that +1 armor, which we don't normally see, because players generally try to save that gas to go for factory starport over getting the +1 armor, not needed as so much. But because there isn't going to be that factory starport as quickly, instead Mind is going to have really strong Marines in the early game that will try to control the field. these units have done absolutely nothing. No damage so far, and unless the Zerglings and Mutas can somehow like find a path inside of here, then Larva is actually going to lose this game very quickly. A lot of damage coming down here. He's trying to clear a path for the Mutas to come in, and there's little to defend except for turrets. And that's where the Zerglings, if there's no Marines left, the turrets can go down pretty quickly, and then the Mutas can start sweeping in to go for SCV kills. This is the trigger for the Mutas to go in and get as many worker kills as possible. We can see that 35 SCVs and on decreasing. All these units are slowly making their way back towards the defense. And this is a huge weakening. Well, now we see that the starport with the add-on is slowly working its way towards getting towards that science vessel tech. And I'm saying the word towards a lot. Okay, so at 3 Mutalisks from that original flock of 11, the kills are pretty good. The SCV count is down to 33 SCVs. And let's see, 31 drones. Not good, mind, as you continue to play not very well, but somehow still managed to win games. That game versus Movie, I feel like Movie, if he actually played a standard game, had a pretty high chance of being able to win. Now, it is so typical of a Zerg player. You just know if they're like a pendulum. If they're not going to be expanding up here, then they're going to be expanding down at the bottom left, which moves all of the bioforces of mine down towards the bottom left to start doing that aggression. With the lurkers on the high ground, though, we can confirm that the Comsat stations do have scans if he wants to do that push, but with 3 lurkers and just such a small group, they won't do too much damage. Oh, okay, so I was going to say, when is that +1 armor going to finish up? Now we can see that 1 Marines have finished up. The Mutas and the Lynx are just still trying to snipe what they can, but this is where the full force comes to do the attack. These tanks are what Larva has to keep an eye out for. He's trying to hold it down for Zerg, and if Zerg wins today, he will be the first race to go to +2 in the count. Every race has won 1 game today. If you're coming in here late, Sulky won a game, Movie won a game, and Mind won a game. The only person to lose was Light in game number 1. So it is. The Scourge are out here, so there will be some science vessel hunting. And let's see what the science vessel's about. Oh, there is this dropship too, and I do love to see a dropship flight coming out. This Lurker Muta defense does manage to pick up the Marines, take out the tanks, and even though the Lurkers go down, I think that is very crucial that the tanks were taken out, which means that this is an infinite defense up here at the high ground. Larva propelling himself into the later stages by being able to hold onto this base. The Nidus Canal is the next key component to being able to get his units over to defend that base location. The Defiler Mount with Consume is on the way too, so it's very, very important that we can confirm that Larva is in a great place to be able to start taking this towards late game Zerg. He didn't go towards Guardian. I think that would have been absolutely absurd, but we've seen Zerg players do some really dumb moves, like go for Guardian way too quickly. Remember, there were 2 Scourge over here. Those Scourge don't seem to be in quite the right position, but with this Nidus Canal finish, and the potential for the Defilers to put down a Dark Swarm, they should be able to defend this base very well. Mine not going to be able to get the proper attack, but he's still laying out his Marines inside of this base regardless to just be c'est la vie. Okay, so this dropship, it somehow is managing to escape. If Mine brought his Marines down, he should be able to keep this dropship alive, and this would be an overcommitment if the Mutas lost themselves that location. The engineering bay coming up for the scout. Is there going to be a switch to mech? The armory is coming up. So the switch to mech is actually on the way. So even though he got 1 Marines, he actually hasn't played 5 racks very well. Because if you continue to micro out of 5 racks, you can have a pretty overwhelming army. But we can see this is not Flash-esque macro, where the army is actually very low. And Sulky, oh my god, it is Larva, not Sulky. Larva pushes down towards his natural base with this Dark Swarms, getting the Lurkers onto the low ground, allows him to be in this position where Mind has to start thinking of a new strategy, which is why we see the armory coming down. So the armory finishes up, and we can see that 2 factories laid out, but still low on the factory count. You don't want to lift these barracks right away. I would say maybe at least 1 more factory before we do see the barracks start to lift. Very important though that they have gotten all the upgrades that they can out of that shop while it's just been remaining there idly inside the natural base. So Larva cannot be busted. He has a very well defense, as he's been able to just hold off everything. These units can't get inside of here. There's no pressure out at the front. And you can see that he has everything pretty much under control. Alright. Just trying to reacclimate where we're at. How many science vessels does he have? 2, only 2. That's why I like Light's chances versus Sulky, because he had 6 science vessels at one point. He's only sitting at 3 here, and he does have to work towards the irradiate before he can throw that down. So the science vessel is actually proving 3. Oh, he does. I'm sorry, 75. So he manages to get that irradiate down at least once on the single defiler. Man, it's hard to be an encyclopedia of StarCraft, isn't it? To remember every single little bit of data. But we can do it, can't we? Just takes lots and lots of practice. Okay, so these mutas are still alive. There's 2 mutalisks from earlier that actually were looking low on health. Is this one? Yeah, they're both back to full health, and they're going to flock in, going for science vessel count hunting. He can't get it. He can get this science vessel. He goes to the one above the Marines. Ah! Larva! Larva could have gotten the easy science vessel kill, but he goes for the difficult ones on top of the Marines, and unfortunately does not get anything done. This lurker out here is actually getting some free vulture kills. And how do you train the mines to be able to see units on the ground? They can go underground, but they can't attack from below. That would make them too broken. Meanwhile, mine has been able to take a 3rd base. So 3rd base here, we have seen the lift now. Remember, I said if he added in another, and this is just going to be just a tyranny's worth of factories, and this mech switch is just going to be ridiculous. Meanwhile, a base coming here down at the 9 o'clock position, which puts Sulky in a pretty good, or Larva in a pretty good spot to be able to control this game. I'm going to start taking shots every time I say the wrong name, guys. I'm sure you're getting as frustrated as I am. Oh, look at this bridge. The bridge open to a few lings that can push in. They're just, no, the range here on the range. Remember that range has been researched really early on. So that's going to help them pick off those initial lings that move in from Larva. Larva does manage to attack the top of this bunker. Ah, he does get the bunker. But the lings are fruitless. Too bad they can't get between here, right? Doesn't it look like they could get between here? Oh, put a mineral patch there and anything can get through. Mineral patches break everything. But this is a lot of lings. The Larva is applying a lot of aggression. How many SCVs will go down? 70 SCVs so far. So the focus on the SCV kills actually shouldn't be so huge. Getting that Karen command center into the red would have been much more fruitful. Meanwhile, there's a base that's been expanded up here towards the top right. There's a base at this location too. A lot of lings moving in, though, and Larva is just kind of taking this entire map. He has so much economy. He's just filtering all his minerals into lings, which makes me think, when are we going to see the cows? Let's go for the cow hunting in a second. We will go cow hunting. I promise you that. He's managed to get this base back. He has to lose control of this one. Like I said, remember 70 SCVs. He still has 65. Okay, yep. So once you start seeing all those lings, you know that it's coming. What is it? The chitinous plating? We'll go with that. The chitinous plating for the ultras to make them that much stronger. All that extra armor. Meanwhile, the lings are sitting at 1-1 as they go against +1 upgraded vultures. Has that armory been spinning? So double armory play too, to really catch himself up and propel himself forward in those upgrades. Mind is looking to make the mech work, but mech has a slow transition. It is slow to take the map, and it has allowed Larva to take so many bases, except for, of course, this one, which has having a little bit of trouble. The vultures seem to have cleared at that location, but 63 drones, several Sunkets coming into that location, a nice canal at almost every base. And Larva could almost take this base too. So Larva is just stocked on economy. You can even see that his main base still has a decent amount of minerals left. And I think that it would be a good idea for him to take half these drones and send them over towards that 9 o'clock location. His base is still lifted. Okay, here's the pressure out of the front as these lings just try and push in. Oh, the lings are too scattered, which means that these Marines and vultures are going to clean up fast. But cracklings do so much damage. And that's just where they're really scary. So we're finding the Ultralisk count, 10 Ultralisks, and they're all here at this bottom base. Meanwhile, these are just a few links over there. Don't get distracted. So up at the north, just a Dark Swarm. Down at the south, 10 Ultralisks. 10 Ultralisks look to play very strong. They have almost a plating done. Oh, no, is it done? Yeah, it is. It is, so that's the +3. Typically, you'll see +4 on Ultralisk by the time that is done, because +1 carapace usually gets researched a little bit earlier, which is where you're like, okay, why is it doesn't say +4? But the carapace upgrade hasn't occurred yet. But the Chitinous plating, along with the blade, the tusk of these cows is coming through. Even with the Spider Mine defense, the damage isn't going to be too strong, as a lot of these tanks are just getting cleared up. I really hate to see these Ultralisks engage without Zerglings though. Zerglings apply so much additional damage. A nice dragon there as the Ultralisk sacrifices itself. And the tank count is down to 5. Vultures to 14. Science Vessels to 3. Oh, there's a lot of damage coming out here as these Vultures just trail a lot of Spider Mines. Spider Mine traps galore down as they hit. Look at this. It's just a trail of Spider Mines, a trail of Ultralisk blood as it continues forward. But it doesn't get the pull into those SCVs, and the Ultralisk dies without worthy cause. But all these Zerglings, remember, the Zerglings are the ones that are going to do the heavy damage. This is how you properly engage into a Bio Force, and Larva has managed to finally pull it all together as he engages us, and the SCV should die so quickly. So a lot of the bases are getting picked off. Remember, this one still hasn't been landed down. It looks like Mine's going to be losing this 3 o'clock location one more time. He's losing this 6 o'clock location. That is out of control. And there's no more resources at the main. So the only mining base is this natural, which is over mining. The SCVs are long distance mining. And Mine might be economically checkmated at this point, as Larva has played a phenomenal game. What are we seeing? I thought CBTs were impossible for Zerg, but now we are going to see a second Zerg be able to win against Terran. The command center is lifted. He has forced the cause. Meanwhile, an additional expansion is about to happen at that base. This base is mining pretty well. He finally transferred all those drones that we were talking about earlier. And look at this, the Ultralisk trying to apply pressure, still coming from the south and north. And Mind, he has mech. And that's what makes this a really long game, because mech players just don't quit. They are too legit to quit. And now another push in, but he's pushing into a mineral, a resource-rich base location with many Nidus Canals, Dark Swarms, Lurkers, Ultralisks macroing in, and so Mine doesn't have much opportunity to be able to defend or to attack these bases without taking out those Nidus Canals first. Now, the Scourge have been very active on the map, and we're going to just see a GG. Alright. What an exhausting one. Zerg goes up 2. That was a good game. I really like that. Mind did not play well, but this is typical Mind. Mind has no strong matchup anymore. He was literally the scariest Terran player 3 years ago. Back in 2014, he came onto the scene and played with the SOSPA era, where Sonic sponsored a team league. And in that team league, the KT team, headed up by Mind, actually beat the SKT team, with Mind defeating Bisu in a quite good game. But it seems that he has fallen even farther than Bisu has. Let me drink some water, as this is a healthy choice. Slurp, slurp, slurp on the stream. Slurp it all. Alright, let's go. Let's keep this going. It's only 10:40, right? No time for sleep, no time for voice relaxation. Tomorrow is going to be an incredibly stressful day, so why not just chill out with some more StarCraft. What is this? We have Scan in the chat actually throwing down ASL Team Battle Round of 8 Game 2. What's up with that? If you want to watch the ASL team battles, please watch my stream, ASL ENG2. Alright, so that was game number 5. Let's go into, or that was game number 4. Oh man, we are not going fast enough. Alright, Larva versus Best. Oh, someone forgot to tell me I did not update the name to Mind. Whatever. Larva, Best. Cool. Always got to capitalize that S. How to download these replays. These replays are provided because I am a partner with KCM, which is why I have these. So if you want to be able to have inside knowledge and learn more about them, then you will get them through this cast. Ask questions. If you'd like me to pause, go back on something, so we can learn the inner secrets of these players, we can. But otherwise, we are just going to power on through this because that is what Thursday cast is for. Oh, look at this. What are we on Sniper Ridge? What's the Sniper Ridge here? Is someone following in the footsteps of BC Dagger Street? Let's see. A name will pop up in a second. I'm just, you know, I'm letting loose. I'm kind of hanging back. I don't even have my mouse on the key, my hand on the mouse. And the mouse is not on the keyboard either, just to be clear. Oh, Blue Storm. Oh my god. Blue Storm, are you kidding? I just don't believe it. Blue Storm is a weird map. Okay, that's right. Blue Storm has been played very often lately. And it is part of the ASL Team Battle games. So, no surprise here that we do see it. Use that ban hammer already. Why would I use the ban hammer? Isn't that the real Scan? It's not. It's fake Scan? Okay. Let's see. Hold on. We got a crisis here, and then we'll get back onto this. I'm not signed in to the correct Twitch. I'm signed in on the Team Liquid account. See? TL account. I can't promote anybody right now. Oh, give me a second. What is going on here? Okay, that's just the Overlord going over. Alright, guys, hang tight. This will be one of those lower information casts. Let's just go to Twitch TV. To sign out of the Team Liquid account and sign back in. This is giving my voice a breather right now, which is really important because I need it. This is like 2 hours straight of speaking, I promise you, if you're just coming into the stream. Okay, let's log out of Team Liquid Net. Why is Twitch so unbearingly slow? I do not know. And then I will be able to sign it very shortly. Look at this. Nexus coming down. Cannon at the front. You forge expand between your main and natural on Blue Storm. How wonderful is that? Now Blue Storm actually has become quite broken. It won't let me log out. It seriously won't let me log out. It's like you are perma stuck as Team Liquid Net. I find that extremely amusing. Oy vey. What's going on here? An Overlord, an expansion, a fast expansion down at the bottom right. Larva, what are you doing? You were going crazy. Oh, someone got you drunk in this game. But no, a pretty quick third. And actually, this is what Zerg players are doing. If you have been watching the Africa Star League team battle, and one of the ZVPs, one of the only ZVPs that we actually saw, was an expansion down here towards the bottom right. And why did they do that? It's a quick access to the gas. Not that you can't take this base and get the mineral only, but it's a further. It looks almost ZVT style-esque, but you get quicker access to this gas, and on top of it, you also can defend it a lot more easily. And it's ironic, but Protoss has its high ground play. It's very open, and so going down towards the bottom right is actually a better play. Okay, so I've finally been able to fix my Twitch. I believe that I am signed in now. So I'm just gonna finagle a few more things. All right. I refreshed Twitch. I will promote someone in just a second to be able to ban people for me. So the probe is inside here. We can see that speed is coming down for these Zerglings. Zergling speed, very nice upgrade to have early on in ZVP. Really allows you to control the field. And we can see that Larva is coming off a one-game win streak also. So everybody has just been completely circular. No one's been able to win 2 games in a row. And now that Larva is going to be shaping up against Best himself. Best has turned out to be a quite strong ZVPer. And he's strong off like a good 2-base economy play, but also does well on expanding towards the 3rd base and also has good Corsair control. So we can see a variety of builds from Best. And it will be no surprise if we do see a strong 2-base play though. Which is why Larva is opting for aggressive Zerglings early on in this game. That's really what he wants to do, is make sure that he can control this field and make sure that Zealots, once they do leave this this initial base, that they don't do a lot of damage. So this is so typical. We haven't seen this in a long time. We haven't seen this in a very long time. Is just the standard like +1 on the Forge and then speed Zealots. I don't know why, but Protoss players seem to have been trying to go towards a slight different variations of Forge expands instead of just going for that fast to +1 speed. Let's see here. Sure, you've just been moderated, Ending Life. Alright, meanwhile, I hear Corsair going off. We'll check down that Corsair in a second. So there's this base over here. Yeah, this is looking all in, isn't it? Look how many Zerglings are coming in. A ton of Zerglings with the speed. Larva is trying to bust everything down. The first one to be told. Really, this back cannon is the one saving grace. It's a really hard to get through back cannon, and which could force the game for Larva if these probes manage to hold on. But this is a probe drill. They did not do a proper job of defending everything. Wow, maybe I take that back. The cannon does survive. I see a single drone has made it into this base, which has been picked off. Oh, but more Lings do come in. So this cannon does get picked off as soon as those probes went away from the cannon, which is why I'm thinking that Larva definitely has this game under control. And I'm sorry I didn't cast this one very well, but it looks like it's going to be a quick one anyway, which is exactly what we needed. Well, it was a quick game, and Best is going to fall out very quickly. So this is the power of Speed Zerglings on Blue Storm. I think this might be the future of ASL builds on Blue Storm also, is these really fast Zergling speed all the type plays. Right, okay, so Ending Life, it looks like he's perfectly modded. It handles stuff, so I don't have to worry about my chat anymore. What a poor game by Best. Alright, and that's going to take us to game number 6. We're getting there, guys. We're getting there. Zerg has 3 wins. 3 wins in total. How nice. Right, and I apologize, and I hope that anybody who was watching this on the VOD just went ahead and skipped that game because my commentary was really poor. But it was really important that we have everything under control in chat, so you guys are happy little peoples. Now, Last versus Larva. Let's go ahead and update this name up here at the top right. This is my breather. How does one get through 9 games in 2 hours is beyond me, but we're doing the best we can. Hey, that's nice of someone to say. from the new sheriff in town. BC Dagger, please, even if your commentary is poor, it's the best commentary. Yes, yes, yes. You guys are awesome. Okay, here we go. Spawning at the top left, we'll have Larva, who's the first player to win 2 games, and then down at the bottom right, we will have our Terran player, which is going to be last. So it would be expected, right, that last should be able to win this game. People have been saying last is just like is Flash 2.0. He's the AlphaGo. He is a top tier player, but sometimes last, in my opinion, really disappoints for all the hype. Yes, he's really good. He's cleaning up on ladder. He's top 5. I believe he rated at number 2. And he is one of the players that fed on Larva all last month to get tons of wins. But that doesn't mean much. And we are on fast speed. So let's go up to fastest speed now that we can actually get through this game. Imagine if the meta, or if like the standard of StarCraft from the way beginning, we decided that fast was going to be the speed over fastest. Oh my god, I would quit as a caster immediately, or never have become a caster because games would be way too long. Oh, we need things that fast so we could click easily, or it would feel like lag non-stop. Alright, so the Overlord is scouting over towards the right position here. And this is looking like we are on Fighting Spirit, if you guys are unaware. And that's what you get when you see AoE. Is it's actually Fighting Spirit with the version number 1.3. But as you can see, you've got the confirmation of the map. For those of you who do not know what AoE translates into. So very, very important here that, again, that we see Larva go for an aggressive build. Larva was good because he controlled the field very well against Mind. And he produced a lot of Zerglings. He got speed. And all of those things helped him out as he played against his Terran opponent. And that's actually what led to Sulky winning against Light. Is a lot of Zerglings early on. Speed early on. Let's have those Lings. Let's have 22 Lings and 11 Mutas. You know, at the point that Bio is trying to force either takedown on your second or your third base, as soon as they push out, they're going to get crushed. Because that number of Lings plus Mutas is just a great combination. And then, of course, after that, you can expand. But right now, we're seeing this has been the standard 12 hatch. The spawning pool is going to be on the way also. And a nice denial of this additional command center that we were seeing last going for. This is a waste of minute. Oh, no, I'm sorry. He's not going to turn into he's not going to turn into the building. Oh, this is Terran. How foolish. I was gonna say, how do you cringe when a Zerg player has minerals in their drone's little tentacles, and then they turn into a building? You're like, that's minerals lost. Why are you doing that? Don't waste those minerals. But sometimes you just got to go with the closest drone. Am I right, or am I right? So getting the full scout out for the SCV here, and we can see that Last has a full knowledge of what's going on. If he can keep an eye out. Now, there's not a quick speed, because typically you want to actually just mine up the gas. As you can see, he doesn't have any gas yet, and just get to lair first if you're not going for an aggressive speed ling build early on. Okay, we can see that both these bases are looking pretty good. Meanwhile, we don't know too much about what Last is actually going for. What's his game plan? He decided to really just off this one barracks on the high ground go for the expansion. The gas has been mined, and this is going to be +1. Yeah, it's going to be +1. So even though it kind of looked like an engineering bay before I clicked on it, you just know right away that this is going to be 5 racks +1. And now Last is the person that does this build as good as Flash. He has the macro intensity to be able to pull this off. So it will be really neat for us to see the difference and how poorly Mind was able to play 5 racks versus where you feel like it's almost broken when a player like Flash will play the 5 racks play, because the units just seem to be constantly streaming, constantly pushing out from that bottom right position to this top left position. 21 drones already. Now 23 drones is where you know, you think that you're pretty good off these 2 bases, and I think that you see the Spire come down soon, and this is looking like 2-base Spire build. And it's all about when do you start to cut those drones, though. As I'm looking around here, you can see that there's not actually any larva going into the drones quite yet, and now you can see a couple more finally getting added on. But that was a trade for a few Zerglings. So actually taking that count from the normal 6 that Zerg players try to scrape by with to 9. And I am a big fan of either getting 9 or even 12 Zerglings to try and be out on the field and pick off Bioforces if they can. It worked out really well for Sulky. So I hope that Larva and Sulky are just kind of working as teammates to try and meta this entire TVZ matchup as they continue to play. And up to 13 now. Yes! This is so good! This is brilliant! Larva might be able to win this game. I'm just feeling it. I'm feeling really good for him. He's got 13 Zerglings streaming across the map. And remember, so he's got 26 drones. And this has got to be the stop for his drone production. I don't imagine that he's going to build any more drones from here. And he's actually getting a Hydralisk. So Lurker aspect is about to finish. And a Lurker play is going to be the difference between what we saw in game number 1 and what we see here in game number 6. A very, very critical difference. Instead of going with Mutas, it's going to be a high link count plus a lot of Lurkers. And if we look inside, we need to see Last has a comsat station at both bases. And +1 5-Racks actually plays pretty well against this, but he does a cancel. He cancels the barracks. So he's going to go 4 racks, but then he's going to transition into factory. He's going to get factory starport right away. And so that's why he canceled this, because he needed to have the extra minerals and start working towards getting science vessels, because he understands that getting science vessels is going to be very, very important for the rest of this entire game. They will play out very huge. On top of that, if Last really wanted to, he could try and get a few vultures out and maybe try and go for mech harassment. But he's not going to spare the economy for that. I mean, that'd be a really stupid move. So let's just ignore any sort of weird speculation and stick to the facts. Right now, there is a relatively decent Bioforce that's trying to sneak around this entire Zerg arsenal. The Lurkers need to spread themselves out really well across this bridge, because right now a single scan will get all 3 of these Lurkers. So as long as Last scans at the right time, he will be able to deal with that well. This is just a spike overlord. There's not lings that are ready to backstab, but these lings, there's no medics over here, but there's 2 fire bats, and 2 stim fire bats can clean it up very quickly. Let's keep an eye out. Sometimes you just send in a medic to just peek in, because why? You know, just killing off medics is mean and funny at the same time. Alright, so these units haven't made it over towards the 3rd. They're still kind of patrolling in the middle area. Let's keep an eye out. Oh, it's just all mech. It's all mech. This is literally all mech. And he's going with vultures. Oh, remember when I said he could, instead of doing science vessels, he could just go straight to vultures and do this vulture harassment going mech? He's doing it. He's literally doing that. Oh, I must be tripping acid today, because I've actually called things pretty well in these games. I'm feeling quite proud. This is a moment that I will not forget. So the vultures do come out to try and join in with this army. Kind of an odd choice, but you know, I miss this fantasy style TVZ where vultures actually had a pretty strong position in the game. So this vulture is going to micro off really well and manage to stay alive. So they'd be able to seek out some drone kills at any point. Meanwhile, let's keep an eye down here. So there's this Lurker. It's warding off the ability for these units to come in here. We do hear that there was a stim that does go down. So, okay, let's go back here. Oh, okay. So there is some Bioforce that's camped at the bottom. This Bioforce still has been too afraid to get up out here, and the Lurker stack actually wasn't perfect. These Lurkers do try to move in, and Last actually responding so perfectly. I mean, that was instant. On the minimap, you can't see a Lurker on burrow. It doesn't like make them larger, but the Lurkers do push out forward here, and Last does react pretty instantly. So the map hacks are real. This brown is killing me, by the way. I know that you guys are saying that I have map hacks, but seriously, I have to look for Fog of War being out of place for me to be able to see this brown on top of this Fighting Spirit tile set. I can't try. I'm just going to pause real quick. That's worse! Oh my god! I can't see the difference in those two colors. Are there two different colors? God, my eyes. Oh, I need those colorblind fixing glasses. They exist. There are videos on YouTube where people cry because they can see full colors. I don't know if I'll cry. I don't know if I need to see my wife in HD to appreciate her. So let's just keep that on the back footing. Meanwhile, these lurkers over here are very nice. Gonna be moving in, and once they crouch under, crouching lurker, hidden spines, not doing too much. And the vultures do clear that up very handily, so no damage there. Meanwhile, Last is getting another expansion up at this 3 o'clock location, so looking pretty strong. And Larva wanted to take the space. He wanted to get up to 4. And unfortunately, he can't take 4 on this high ground, even though it's one of those bases that you typically could. There's just this naughty group of Marines that are keeping everything at bay. And now, finally, fighting uphill. Lurkers do well uphill. I would say Lurkers are one of the units that don't care. Mainly because it's like their spines are melee. There's no missed chance on Lurker spines. So, it would be hilarious if, like, a Marine just dodged out of the way. But that's not going to happen. And so, really, this advantage is quite huge that we're seeing for Last as he manages to secure these 2 bases. But if this hatchery can come down for Larva, he's got a lot of Scourge out. But remember, we didn't see the starport earlier on. But this is a Valkyrie build. And if you don't remember, what's the weird map on the weird map in the ASL Team League right now? Last actually lost a TVZ against Zero, but he went for a Valk build to defend against Mutas when he was playing at a disadvantage, and his Valkyrie micro was ridiculous. So we're gonna have to keep an eye on that, what these Valkyries are planning on doing. Is there going to be a Muta switch? Is that what is being anticipated here? I'm looking at the army arsenal, and it doesn't look like that switch has occurred. We're not seeing +1, so it all looks pretty standard. The energy upgrade coming on for those defilers. Oh, it's very important. And this has been an impossible bridge for Heron to break. The vultures are doing nada damage, absolutely none. So this quick bailout out of 5 racks play, which I think would have been effective, is now going into full-on mech. We can see that 6 factories have finished up. Sometimes you see a factory on the lower ground. That's maybe, I think you could fit a factory on the lower ground if you're on Circuit Breaker, but not quite as well on Fighting Spirit. So we'll just skirt from that knowledge. At the 3rd base, though, and 4th base, they are both mining very, very well. This is the base that you want to mine from the most. And then if this base gets lost, you can bring your SUVs over to this base location. So you always try and mine the bases that are riskier as heavily as possible, and then escape with your workers. So that way, at least you're getting the most out of the economy while you can. Still, nothing's happening. Let's make sure that there aren't drones missing. 56 drones. Larva playing a real good game. The Ultraless Cavern, that tank is coming out perfectly. And these tanks are warding everything off. They've got a nice zone. So even if 10 Ultralights do come out, because of the spider mines here, the nice spread of these tanks and a more aggressive posture, we're going to see that Larva will have a much harder time breaking out, and he'll actually have to work very effectively between Lings and, oh, here come the Ling Drags, the Mine Drags. And he's going to have to work better with a Ling Ultralist combo if he wants to be able to win against Last. Last, though, where is he up to double armory? He does have the armory on the low ground here. Where is a second armory? I feel like there should be one. We have to go for the constant search. Where are those Valkyries going? Someone tell me where the Valkyries are, because I haven't seen them doing the damage that we would expect. Not supply block, just 120, 120. So we can imagine that these Valkyries are just floating somewhere. It's so hard to see them. Nope. Nope. A nice expansion. Double factory coming up over at that location. Someone's going to be yelling at me. about it. I know it. I know I'm missing something huge. Why else were they made? Oh, here comes some mutas. So the mutas are out. Okay. Oh, 13 mutas. Ah! He gets him! He gets the plague on the on the Valkyries, and all these expensive 4 Valkyries are just useless now as they're gonna get brought down to 1 health, and they're all gonna need to get repaired. This is the saddest thing that I've ever seen. Oh my god, Last, you are not the AlphaGo that I expected. And so mass repair is going to come down. I'm so glad that I searched so hard for those Valkyries, so that way I did not miss that beautiful moment here in StarCraft history. When, oh, do we ever get to see Plague on Valkyries the way that we have? This bear should go down very shortly. Meanwhile, this plus can't come out. This tank looks like it should be a range of these lurkers. Why isn't that damaging? So there's a ton of healers. Actually, it seems like a lot more than there is. Just because you have units attacking from the north, you have units attacking from this base here, and Defiler already with its Dark Swarm also. So yeah, we're getting some upgrades coming down for the Overlords. It's very important that you get speed and carrying Overlords too. You want Overlords to be able to transport units and drop them on top of tanks to get those quick kills. This is nice. I love that Larva did this in the last game too, is that he does these link run-bys, but he is attacking the wrong units. It would be nicer. 85 SCVs, by the way. 85. Well, that's taking away a whole lot of potential army. Meanwhile, why 5 Valkyries? He built 5 Valkyries to combat 13 Mutalisks. And while those Mutalisks are going to go down very quickly, this is such a huge investment. So he has 85 SCVs and 5 Valkyries, which means his ground army is super weak. The Ultralisk Cavern is finished up, and Last is about to get face slapped with a bunch of ground melee units. And can he hold once these units start to roll out? The Lynx do have, what do the Lynx have? 2-1, 2-1 plus 2 carapace, not so bad. And yeah, Valks do suck without upgrades, don't they? Especially this late in the game. Let's go back. Maybe this was like a challenge. This is like a Daylight Daily, or like a Fun Day Monday, where every minute you have to build a Valkyrie after the 7-minute mark. Maybe that was the true challenge. And now he's got Goliath out here also to deal with this. Goliaths are just going to die. They're going to crumble so quickly to the Ultralisk. Here they come! They spawn all out! I'm so glad we've been in the right spot for all these Ultralisk runouts. So the Ultralisk are going to be able to clean up everything so quickly. Well, almost so quickly. They headed towards the north, too. They didn't engage towards the right position. If they wanted to do a full break of Discontain, while in the south, these units are poised to take out this hatchery. So the Ultralisk run in here very quickly. And this is where you need the 5 a small investment. Let's say 6 because Zerglings like even numbers. I hit the enter key and I was like, okay, let's just write stuff. Okay. Anyway, back in focus. You can't write a message to nobody unless you're liking Lost. Has anybody been watching Lost? I have. Real old show, but I haven't seen it before. That's my new show. I also could be playing Horizon all night, by the way. Horizon Zero Dawn is freaking amazing. It's like Uncharted meets Witcher, which is awesome. But no, I have these replays that I wanted to get through. One Zergling. Remember I said 5 and then rounded up to 6? That one Zergling just got a tank, and now let's see the progress of this Ultralisk. I don't care if we see anything else that's happening in this game. Let's see this one Ultralisk. It slowly takes down those tanks, but it was rather pitiful. Last has the map split. I mean, Last has map split in just the most ridiculous way, where Terran is actually rather broken. There is an additional gas that can be taken here. This gas hasn't been taken either. So it's been 4 gas, but what are we, almost depleted here? Yes. Yes, we're almost depleted. BC Dagger, you know how to count your gas at the 20-minute marker of Fighting Spirit, as long as it's been mined normally from the base as a third player. Meanwhile, I would not be surprised. Yeah, we're getting closer to Anyway, so the Ultralisk and the Zerglings are going to clear out one more time. And what an exhausting group of units that just get raked through the coals by two tanks. I forget the amount of hits. So 80, 400 health. So siege tanks, when they're siege, do 80 damage per hit, which is actually rather poor when you think about 80 other units, like including another siege tank that can get 2 hit by other siege tanks. Ultralisks have just such a high amount of health. And these mutas, where are the Valks? Where are the Valks? More mutas coming in, and Larva is just like trolling this entire game because apparently these Valkyries have been just completely useless in this game. They've disappeared. I'm not even sure if they're around to be relevant. And Last is trying to turn up like super quickly. What point are we in this game where we're just seeing this transition to mutas? This has been wonky, but he's cleaning up everything. The pressure could be good. I think that the follow-up to all these mutas, though, even though they're doing some decent damage, needs to be a bunch of Zerglings. The problem is that there's more gas than there is minerals, just because Larva isn't mining a lot of minerals. Unfortunately, he doesn't have a flush mineral patches. He only has 35 drones, and probably having 35 drones for as long as he has had them in this game is one of the things that has cost him the ability to win this sooner, because he needs to get up to 55 drones. But let's be honest, he needs 55 drones across all these bases to feel pretty sufficient. Yeah, the re-macro with Goliaths, these mutas are going to die off pretty quickly. They're unupgraded mutas, but let's keep an eye out. Remember I said Lings needed to be re-macroed. That's all he could really do. Meanwhile, another mech push, and it looks like this base could be taken out very shortly. It's down to half health. He may have to do a lair trick to be able to keep it alive. But these tanks are absorbing so much damage. I think that we're getting close to a GG point. As soon as the tanks take the high ground, I think that the control will have been lost. Meanwhile, the vultures did just run in here and kill a bunch of drones. So the drones are... Yep. Oh, man. This is why I couldn't be like a metal rock star, because I would not be able to sing at a concert for 2 hours straight. But I guess they take breaks and drink a ton of alcohol, do a bunch of acid. Alright. Terran takes the win. Mind, or not mind, Last survives. Who is going to be next? Guys, it's getting late for me. I have to power through this. Shuttle versus Last. This is the last Protoss player. It will be Shuttle. And then there's one more Zerg. Alright, we'll roll with that. Let's go for it. Let's just speed up like the first minute of the game. We're just speeding up the first minute. Bear with me. I need to get through all this. Thank you all for listening, as long as you guys have. I appreciate it. Watch me on Saturday morning if you can. Africa Star League. ASL 2 or ASL in... I'm getting it backwards, am I? ASL ENG 2. That's what it is. Okay. Let's hunker down. There's a gateway out on the map. Shuttle, you sly bastard, you. I'm going to try to be very aggressive with this forward gateway. We've seen this fail. Does anybody remember Bisu's game versus Mind? Oh my god, that was stressful. And that was on Blue Storm. But still, he knows where his opponent is. The probe will get there very shortly. And this barracks is about to finish. It's going to be out at the front, which is actually to the disadvantage of Last, especially if this had turned into 2 racks. Because not only is it not going to be a wall off, he won't have Marines spawning inside of his main base, and he won't be able to, you know, micro them around as easily. He's going to have to build Marines immediately and bring them over. A floating barracks would be terrible. Never float your barracks during zealot pressure, by the way. Don't float your barracks. because the Zealot will just try and stand under the barracks to not let it land. So you can't just react like that. So this first Zealot, it's actually getting caught on like the shoulder pads of Zealots because of SCVs, because SCVs are kind of like 80s style wearing units, so they've all got shoulder pads. So this supply depot was a great decision. So the Marines can actually micro in between this small pixel of space, and this is going to make it hard for the Zealot to engage. But Shuttle is going to try and take this game. He's bringing in another Zealot. If last micro is good, he will win this. He will win this game right here. And that is what we're looking forward to, is he's just got to keep these Marines alive. SCV damage, that's fine. He takes the early command center too. That's what you do with your early minerals, is you just expand, because if you do manage to survive against all this pressure, you have such a huge economic lead. We can see that the Zealots down here continuing to pressure. A third one comes in. They're trying to pinch from either side, which is really good, and all the Marines go down. So Last has got to be thinking, how cautious did I need to be now that he's lost all of his Marines, and the Zealot is continuing to apply pressure, chasing down the final defensive unit, which is this Marine. The Zealot getting inside this base, it's causing so much attention, it's forcing all the Marines up towards the top. Meanwhile, there is no stop of Zealots, but the Cybernetics Core has finished, and range is going to be on the way. So it looks like we're going to see a good bit of pressure. But finally, Last has resolved to getting a bunker out. And there have been games where a player will opt to go for just running the Dragoon by and to get it inside of the opponent's base. But no, we're going to see that this is a defense here. So while Dragoons are going to continue to get produced, this could end up just being, for the most part, standard. Alright, we're low on time. This is a good time to afford us up a little bit. We'll just keep an eye on the mini-map. What are we missing here as things continue to build? So very interesting. Very interesting. The Dragoons tried to come in here to pick off maybe a few SCVs that are repairing, but they're not going to get too much repairing done. Behind this, a robotics facility has been added in. So just like Movie versus Mind in the game that he lost, we're seeing a robotics facility, heavy aggressive type play, possible Reaver follow-up. Another Nexus is going to be built, so a nice quick timing to a third Nexus to get all those extra minerals. The turrets here are going to lead to safety, though, whether it be versus DT or versus Reavers, they will definitely help out versus that potential shuttle play. This is a lot of Dragoons that are coming out. A 5th Dragoon here actually makes it really close to breaking the bunker, which is why this tank is so important. Let's go and look. Siege mode couldn't finish up any sooner. So siege mode will finish before this bunker will get broken, but this health is going to get scary low, like super scary low. And he's just, oh, I wondered if the pressure was going to be there to just try and break the bunker and take a few more hits from the tank. But remember, you know, 3 hits from the tank, 70 damage. So the Dragoons will just die way too quick. I'm sorry, not Best Shuttle is smarter than that. So all their Dragoons are going to be brought back. Meanwhile, he does have this expansion. He's trying to set himself up to defend against vultures. 3 gates is what I would expect, but 3 gates is still going to be pretty light if the factory count gets up to 4 gates or 6 gate pressure. If it's 4 gate SCVs get pulled, it's all in. And if it's 6 gate, it's a little bit different. We'll cross that field if we get there. But instead we're seeing, what is this? The engineering bay floating out. And let's speed up one more time, because PVTs can be long. This is a pretty quick armory. I like this. And actually one of the best games that Iris has played since he returned to StarCraft 1 was where he got double expansions and double armories at the same time on Circuit Breaker. Because when you get cross-spawn, you can actually get super greedy, not only with your expansions, but with your upgrades. And so I would like to see these early upgrades, maybe a second armory somewhere out in the map. And the Academy is going to be good too. The Academy is going to be very important. So the revive facility ended up not being for anything, did it? It's just for tank breaking. Really, that it's dropped zealots. And that's what we're going to see here. So the shuttle does come out. It's not going to be Robo, of course. It's going to be... Yep. We got the fleet beacon. So it's going to be Carrier. So very nice that we were able to see Carrier. A Carrier often the go-to when the Nexus is expanded here versus here. If the Nexus was quicker to that location, we would be seeing Arbiter all the way. But let's regather all the reds. Somehow this gateway is still alive and producing very nicely for Shuttle. Shuttle was the Africa Star League Season 1 winner from 2016. He had played quite good games in the fall of 2016, but unfortunately could not close out in winner in early 2017 either. He just really didn't have quite the same momentum going into it, and the level of play has increased quite a bit. This shuttle, what's it looking for? Let's keep an eye out. It cannot get on top of these tanks because the turrets have been built out. And so with them being built out on the map, it just provides some good defense against the shuttle, allowing good siege positioning. This observer is going to have the vision though and understand exactly how many units are gathered around this third base that has been taken. Meanwhile, that looks like a lot of vultures. You have 4 vultures that have been brought out on the map to just try and search, seek, and destroy. Sing it, Metallica. Alright, so let's see if we can push forward just a little bit more. Let's speed this up. Yep, we're going to speed forward. So this base will eventually get taken out. It's not worth trying to defend. It's much better to just hold out here. Let's keep an eye. Has this been scanned out yet? We want to remove him. Did I remove the wrong one? So he has not seen the carriers yet. He doesn't know. So that's really important. I may have skipped over the timing for that ComSat station to be identified over there. Now, a lot of ground has been gained by Last. And so Last probably is feeling like this is going to be a carrier build, or he's misjudged what is going on. So this is why we constantly have to pan back over here. Sometimes you can scan over here for carriers, and sometimes you can scan over here for carriers. But eventually that scan is going to have to go off. This army is getting pretty strong, and look at this. It's been boosting up to 8 factories. So this is a max army off of 2 bases, or 3 bases that we're going to see Last going for here. And if Last can max out, which it looks like he's going to be getting towards very, very shortly. He's got to just get a couple more supply depots. Now at 166, he's really just trying to push out as many of those supply depots as he can to be able to hit that max mark. You can see him going up in such strides. Meanwhile, the vultures, just tons of vultures here. Can he hit from a high ground too? Is that what Last is actually trying to hit? That distance from here to here just is way too long. Meanwhile, an expansion to be able to take a third gas is really important. If this third gas can't survive, Terran loses. It's checkmate. That is one of the most critical bases for Terran in this matchup on Circuit Breaker. In particular, you can't win unless you take a third gas base. So I'll always have to keep an eye out that. And the carriers might go here first. Really hard to defend well. The carriers come in from the north. They micro very well. Meanwhile, all the pressure coming in from Last, he's managed to make it to the bridges. So the vultures push across. They're going to try and break the pylons, do some damage on the observatory. That one's going to have to be rebuilt, I'm guessing. But the carriers are forced out. So 2 carriers are coming out here, trying to do as much damage as he can to ward off these vultures. A lot of spider mines out here. And thank God the observatory is alive, because the observer does need to be brought into the fold. 4 carriers in total. The Goliaths are in a good spot, and Last has read this perfectly, as there are so many more Goliaths that are starting to stream out. Let's take a vision check here. And only 1 machine shop, so the rest are completely dedicated to vultures and Goliaths, and that's going to be quite a massive army. But right now, Shuttle, he's doing so well. He's managed to just kind of shrink this army down in quite a size. 3 siege tanks remain, but still the mighty amount of Goliaths that remain is strong. +1 is done. +2 can't be done unless we can identify that science vessel. Tech and our science facility, and the science facility has not been completed. So really, we're just still sitting on +1. I think that +2, what is it? I know that +3 is really good against interceptors, but I don't know what the difference is between +1 and +2 in terms of being able to take them down at the same time. Gonna definitely have to keep an eye and learn a bit about the math of that. Oh, okay. We're 2.5 hours into this cast, and I am dead. Am I on the right spot? Yes, I am. Someone asking. Keep it lively in the chat, at least. I love that you guys are still here. Thank you for watching for so long. I mean, this has been your entire afternoon or morning, depending on where you guys are in the world. So I do appreciate you hanging out, watching these casts with me. If you want to watch these casts later again too, or in the future, if you need to see the VOD, they will be on KCM's channel. That is where I will be distributing them. So hello people who watch on KCM's channel. I am BC Dagger, and I appreciate the fact that you made it this far through the replays. Oh, this is a ton of carriers. A ton. 6 carriers. Oh, look at all these dragoons. This is a great army so far to engage across the map. I would love to see the full army engagement. Let's see if we can push this. Going up the ×2. We're going up the ×2. Carriers move too slow for my patience. All right. So remember how I said that 3 o'clock base would be a key one to attack into? Well, this one kind of makes sense too, because 4 gas Terran is the most ideal Terran you can deal with. That gives you a proper amount to do Goliath combo that you need to fight against these carriers. So the carriers, there's still a full force. The carriers actually have to take a damage, and it's really about the interceptor micro, which is done really well. So a decent amount of damage, a ton of red flags down in the front, but how many of these carriers are empty on interceptors? It looks like the interceptor count has gotten way low, and so there's always a point where you need to back off, let the interceptor count get high, and I think this is the point to back off. Use the dragoons as a buffer, let the carriers just kind of gather their strength. And these zealots, even without speed, are actually going to be pretty strong to at least just buffer damage, but the carriers aren't there with them. The interceptors should be hitting as the zealots are running in, so that way they can distract and do a lot of melee damage. It doesn't matter which one is doing the damage, whether the Goliaths focus on interceptors or zealots. There's no smart choice here. The best choice of 4 last is to retreat, because it looks like the carriers are just doing too well. Alright, meanwhile, there are only 2 siege kings remaining, 5 bolters, 7 Goliaths, and I think that shuttle might win this. Are you kidding me? Last, remember I said last just hasn't been looking Alpha Go-ish. It might lose. And I absolutely dislike last after that 40-minute TVT he had versus Piano, I believe. Oh man, was that just a headache. No one wants to watch a 40-minute TVT when it's driving on the way it did. But last did win, so I at least give him some credit. There's 1 carrier left. There's 1 carrier. Okay, he's managed to be sloppy. He's lost all of his carriers. And Lax might be able to rebound from this. We'll get to a long one here, only fellas. Alright, let's speed this up. We gotta get to the next game. We gotta get to the next game. It's too late for me. Oh, what's going on here? Dragoons coming over. We'll pause or we'll move over whenever there's something worth seeing. And so the Dragoons coming into this location. 7 tanks added up now. And another machine shop has been added in. So those of you concerned about last tank count, he does have that additional machine shop to be able to produce more. 3 carriers. Double carrier production. And yeah, we can see that this is paltry in comparison. What's the worker count? 69 probes. What are these people on that they're getting probe counts so high? We saw 85 SCVs in the other game with Blast. 62 probes here? Awesome. I like it. 69 probes now. And this is getting outrageous. So this is one of those other key bases that I like to see that is being pressured. and we talked about it earlier. So now the carriers should be able to get quickly. They don't have a lot of interceptors, so they do need to leave away. +3. So I'm guessing that really, that's incredible. That +3 has already been researched for these interceptors. The damage is going to be really, really high. How is this happening? How did Last just lose control of it? He had all of the carriers but one. But now the street carriers are just owning everything up. He switched to tanks too quickly. Oh, but here comes the cloak! Here comes the cloak rates! Here he comes! There's no observer here. Did you see he scanned over here? Oh, the observer comes! The observer comes. But this carrier did not. Wow. You see the interceptors just blow up. They're like, no home? Okay, see ya. Imagine if ET ship blew up. You go, no home? Combustion ETs. Alright. Wow, I did not expect that. I did not expect that, but Terran has lost. And now that is all 3 Terrans gone. Right. Let's go ahead and do an adjustment here. And here comes the final game. Well, we've done it, guys. We've made it to the end. There's 2 players remaining. 1 Protoss, 1 Zerg. Effort has failed to show us good games against Protoss in the ASL tournaments. Z. Effort. Let's go ahead and get that started. Alright. The winner here wins it all. All the money goes to the winners. Very important. Players who go on winning streaks, though, they do get additional money. So there is that ability, too. Right, we're going to be closing today off with the PVZ. I am Beast Dagger again. If you haven't liked my channel, like it, follow it, something, do whatever. I have a Twitter account. I tweet every once in a while. Follow that if you feel like you want to have your Twitter game upgraded, because I am there. Other than that, what kind of dog do I have? I have a Siberian Husky who... she's been avoiding me all night. What the hell is up with that shit? Just very inappropriate. She doesn't like to hang out with me anymore. She's all wonked out because my father-in-law and I built a Murphy bed. We put it on the wall back here, and now she's just like, the space is all weird for her. She doesn't know what to do with it. It's more space than before, but she doesn't know what to do with it. Okay. So we're on Neo Medusa, so we've gotten back to this wonderful 3-player map. Let's scoot forward a little bit in time. The spawning pool first. Spawning pool first. Okay, so that's going to be the most important first bit of information here, is that instead of going to be a 12 hatch, we're going to see that it is an overpull instead. And with the overpull is going to allow Zerglings early on to be aggressive. And we're in a ZVP. Let's realign here. Overpull works against Protoss players. This isn't versus Terran. This is versus Protoss. Remember, we've just switched the matchup. So this is good. Overpull on a wide open ramp like this. It's a hard to defend against overpull type map. And so I think this may pay off really well for Zerg. Is Zerg going to win the first KCM of 2017? Very important. Yeah, effort is so fast. Look at that. The APM up at 500. Man, my APM when I'm like trying really hard never gets above 250. Like I sit at 250 APM, which, you know, for not playing often isn't bad. 160 is usually my average though, because I take it easy. Why did I get a husky is the question. I got a husky because I married my wife who owned a husky. So now I have a husky. Oh, that's the easiest explanation ever, but she is a badass dog. She's turning 10 this year, by the way, getting quite up there in age, but still moves around quite well. She hates the hardwood floors in the house, though, because she slides everywhere, and I'm always jumping out behind corners to scare her. I go into bear mode, and apparently I'm a very intimidating 6'3" bear. But sometimes when she gets me out of my seat to play some cat and mouse type game, she just jumps right into my seat as soon as I get up. She's so clever for such a large dog. Is that what happened to Husky StarCraft? Yeah, he got married and became Husky StarCraft. He is married to the game, though. That's what he is married to. Alright. That's a kind of cool name, though. Husky StarCraft. What a badass dude. So remember all those all that hype around this overpool? So speed is going to be on the way, but we don't have a lot of Zerglings quite yet. I guess the Zerglings being kept hidden in terms of count. He does know that it's the overpool timing at this point. And so Shuttle's in a pretty good spot. Shuttle's weaker on PvZ, but he did dethrone effort in the PvZ of the Africa Star League Season 2 when they were in the group stages. So very important to remember. Remember that. In terms of head-to-head, actually Shuttle has the upper hand in major premier tournaments. So this Overlord is actually getting some nice scouting information, identifying that the Corsair is going to be on the way shortly. A second cannon is getting dropped down, which is very important. Again, remember, wide open area makes it easy for Zerglings to run in. So you need 2 cannons. 2 cannons can effectively block about 5 Zerglings, which is what is currently coming out here, 7 Zerglings. So you can effectively block 5 Zerglings, and then a Zealot, wherever the Zealot is, should be able to defend against this too. The Zealot was picked off. Well, that was lucky. That or I'm imagining things. I thought a Zealot did finish up. If you had a StarCraft sound effect for an alarm clock noise, what would it be? It probably would be nuclear launch detected. That would be a pretty good one. It would start off though with the full sequence, like with the noise that it makes when the red dot appears at a certain location. That would be really cool, as if my alarm clock moved around the room, and then the nuclear launch would happen from that random location. So I'd have to wake up and quickly track down my clock before it exploded in my room. That was a long explanation, wasn't it? Okay, so the Hydros Den has been finished up. No doubt that this base has been taken at the mineral patch on the high ground. Remember my electric circuit metaphor on game number 2 or 3, something like that. That you take this free mineral only location for your macro hatchery. So there's a Corsair out. Corsair obviously looking for some quick kills, and Movie did some good job playing as a Protoss player early on with his Corsairs, and then following up with that Reaver combo. It was on this map too that we saw Movie be able to take out Larva. Or was it? No, it was Sulky. Movie defeated Sulky. Meanwhile, look at this. The Lurkers have made it in. Pretty nifty. So the Lurkers clear out this mineral line, and so this greedy third base is going to be pressured pretty quickly. How did they get through here? They did the trick. They must have done a pretty quick trick, and I'm really sad that I did not click over there for you guys to see it, but that happened. Yeah, the Ghost always dies in the nuclear blast, unless you get the upgrade. Okay, so these Lurkers can actually clear out this low ground too, because they have the range to be able to reach over there from the cliff. So that makes this position pretty broken. 0 kills on this Corsair too. Everyone is looking like he's in a pretty good position. This is going to be switching into 3 base, 5 hatch Hydra bust maybe. No, he's getting Overlord speed. He's gonna go for drops instead. And we can also see that Spire's going to be coming up, I guess, to deal with Corsairs. I think that's what's going to be coming out here. So DT is going to be pushing across. Remember, the Templar Archives gives you both access to the High Templar and the Dark Templar. So We've got this wonderful bladed cloaked unit. No unit looks cooler. This is just awesome. And this DT is not going to get in. Why? Why? Because, well, the Corsair has done 0 damage. He has killed nothing. Meanwhile, remember this lurker over here? There has been no mining at this base or this base for minutes now. Minutes! This has not been cleared out. And so, really, Shuttle is so far... Oh, who are we on? Yeah, we are Shuttle. Shuttle is so far behind. This is absurd. The access to vision isn't there. He loses a Nexus. And remember that Overlords are going to be having drops soon. They got speed finished up, so speed really good. He may not go for drop, but at least he did go for Overlord speed. Overlord speed's really important because you want to be able to micro your Overlords around the Corsairs. Any of the Corsairs that would come in for an attack. This is it, though. The Hydralisk coming from behind. What a weak game from Shuttle. You know, he's supposed to be closing up, team captain for the Protoss Arsenal, and he is just not making a very good showing. Effort is coming in here and clearing up house. I guess Shuttle did defeat last, so he did his initial work, but he didn't close out, and that's always really very important. Remember, we have the ASL team battles, and you have to really rely on your team captains and good decision making on who's going to play on map, and the players really have to help each other to succeed. I think that the Team Flash versus Team Bisu matchup is just going to be so incredibly intelligent. Alright, well, GG, that's it. Shuttle is going to lose. Effort does win, and that's going to be it for the games. I see someone came in here. Johnny comes in for a good evening. Well, good night, because this is it. Wow. 3 hours of casting. That's incredible. My wife asked me not to stay up late and keep it short so I could get some sleep because I've got a long day tomorrow. Didn't happen. I'm probably just going to go eat a piece of ham, watch a little bit of Lost, and then close it up. 3 lurkers did win the game. How sad was that? Alright guys, you guys are awesome for hanging out with me. This has been a blast. So, I don't do this unless there are viewers that actually care about this. So, thank you for continuing to be interested. And I hope you all take care and have a good night. Here comes my outro video. Peace.
You